Hey, what's up, people? Today is Sunday, 4 o'clock, 4:08 Central Time, December 18th. I complete my first semester of graduate school. I completed my last exam for my foundations class. I haven't been on all semester. I've been mad stressed, but I'm relieved. Thank you. I feel good. More or less, I got to give you guys an update through the whole semester, which I didn't kind of commit to um, going each week. I just didn't have time, people. It was just so much reading, so many papers, exams, self checks. But you know what? Overall, I think that for first time coming out of school, not being in school for since 1999, man, that's a long time. That's a whole teenager if I had kids that were born back then, but I don't. Um, this was a great experience. When I first started, I didn't feel like I was prepared. I had my kids coming into school, going into fifth and third grade. I had to buy books and school clothes, and I wasn't even prepared for them. But I finally able to get them started. And as you can remember, in the beginning of the semester, I was all stressed about my loans, and from that point, I was like, I played a couple weeks back. I played 2 weeks behind, and it kind of stayed that way throughout the semester. In this semester, I had research methods, which is showing you how to do research and read studies, and that was a awesome class. The first couple of weeks, I was doing poorly on these exams, and I actually had the TA tell me like, "Hey, buddy, you better put it together and do something, or you're not gonna pass this class." And I actually straightened up, and this was one of the hardest classes in the beginning, and I ended up doing well, and it was very challenging. It brought back the whole math and everything. I'm thinking I gave up math back in high school, and then I had to start doing statistics. That's unbelievable. I would have never imagined doing statistics, and I actually did well in statistics. I actually used the calculator. What is the Texas Instrument calculator? I never used one of those, and like I had to use one of those. But I ended up doing well in statistics, research, methods. It was great as well. One of the surprising classes that I'm not going to say I didn't expect to do well, but social work, social welfare policy. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm not going to share all my grades, but an A like that, like it was one of the hardest classes because of the amount of reading. We had two critique papers, which I did excellent on. Like it was unbelievable. Like the history of social welfare was one, and then hey, I got 15 years of CPS, so the other paper was on CPS over periods and over period of time and some of the changes the CPS has made over the years. And I did well with that. And then I had a group presentation, and my group kicked it out of the park. I just it was just I'm not gonna say, it was a lot. Everything was uh, challenging. But this social welfare policy, man, it opened my eyes. It got me started to read the newspaper. I never read the newspaper and like look for policy stuff, about immigration, about education, about inequalities for people of color, or again on immigrants. It was really immigrant based because our professor, she works with the immigrant community, which is great. Prior to that, I would have never looked into things like this. So that what a mind blowing. Human behavior in the social environment, by far, that and foundations were my two best classes. But I'm kind of disappointed because I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do in this class. It like I think I said in one of my writings or blog posts or vlogs, one of the biggest problems for me this year is I'm not going to say I thought it was going to be easy, but I thought coming from my background, I worked in the field 15 years, CPS. What I was doing, I was putting everything that I learned in classes, I was instantly able to apply them into my field placement, into my work. But what I was doing, I was also applying them into my past history with CPS and saying like, hey, actually, I understand what I did back then. It has a name for it, or I can put this framework of developmental life course or resiliency, put it in the framework of what my life was and my past experiences. But the problem was I was able to implement and apply, but I wasn't bringing the whole framework and the definitions and the the wording. You know what I mean? Like everything made sense. I was able to do it, but I didn't carry the frameworks and what my peers were doing. And I'm not going to say just because they didn't have a history of social work, but what I saw them doing, and it was very smart, and I'm going to do this next semester, many of them didn't have social work backgrounds. So what they were able to do was take the information from class and apply it directly into theory, apply it directly into writing. They didn't have to put it in a vehicle for it to make sense. Like that makes sense for me now, but it didn't. I thought it was going to be an advantage for me, and it was completely the wrong move. What I didn't come in with is uh, what the plan for next semester is to go in, and I'm not going to say put aside my history because my experience is my experience, but move it aside and allow myself to absorb this information and not necessarily try to put it in a box. That's going to be my best route going forward. Um, I have a plan. I'm going to try to. I have a month off, so January 17th, going back to school, and I'm going to try to have the reading set. I'm going to try to be prepared. I'm gonna try to get the readings like started because those are the things that some of the issues that I was having in the beginning. But anyways, human behavior and social environment, man, what an awesome class and course. All these frameworks, like I said, developmental life course perspective, resiliency, social gradients. Like I never looked at the life and over life, this whole development and all the trajectories that we have, the transitions of our life, the historical timing of our life, how all those things make us and make us into people, and how it all changes over time from birth to death. That was just, I mean, it sounds like, yeah, it may sound like, well, duh. No, go read the articles and you'll be, it'll be so amazing to you. This was just such an awesome experience. And then foundations, I do have to admit that I didn't read as much as I was supposed to. My TA, he did give me the hint of, dude, you need to start skimming some of this stuff. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know. I still don't know how to skim to the best of my abilities. Um, but this foundations class, oh my goodness, it's a course that is giving you the foundations of your therapeutic work, your clinical work going forward. And I'm not going to say you could take the book and then, go sit down with somebody, but more or less, you could take the book and go sit down with somebody and figure out how to do therapy. Like, it was such a powerful book, a very useful book. Again, between foundation and my human behavior class, those are the ones. I didn't even think I was gonna. I mean, dude, a clinician? Come on, son. Like I would have never imagined wanting to be a clinician. That was the last thing. But the work that I've been doing with these men and these groups that I do showed me one that men are in need of service. That men, when they're around the right man, in the sense that I felt like they were around me, when they were around me, they were able to. Man, I had these guys breaking down and crying, opening up themselves, and having this vulnerability that we as men we don't normally have. That's a whole nother conversation. This whole talk about clinical stuff and like my next steps and next goals. But man, I'm done. I'm done for this semester. Woo, doggy, and it's cold in Texas. It is cold. Yes, it is. I threw away all my sweaters and jackets and boots before I came down here 2 years ago. And do I need them? Yes. Anyways, that was just a side note. It was cold this morning. Um, Check out my little boy back there, Specs Crew. And for those who don't know, you go to specscrew.com. You can see some of my paintings and some of my art. But anyways, this is going over 9 minutes. Thank you for reading or being part of Spec Crew, being part of Deconstruct Your Perspective. Follow me. If you're willing to come on and want to do a blog or vlog, Boom. I'll create your own little category and you can express yourself. If you want to write something and submit something, come and do it. But I'm going to wrap this up so I won't go long because I do want you to see everything. I'm done. I'll see you next semester. But I'm going to try to put some blogs out. And, I'm a little free now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Peace.